Remember this day, man, for it will be yours for all time. We have shown them that a trembling hand can become a fist. We have challenged the idea that a slave must always know his place, excepting Rotten Lash because he was taught to accept it. We built their mighty republic with our hands and our blood and our lives. And we can see it fall at equal cost. You opened my eyes to this, Spartacus. I am coming for it all. What lies beneath your feet? Sacred grounds, watered with tears of blood. Shall we begin? Shall we begin? Shall we begin?
And the ape stood and became man.
Hey, where are the white women at?
Fade in.
Vaginas in the rain.
Funny, she doesn't look Jewish.
I am McLovin.
What is he doing? Come on, man.
That's a big Twinkie.
Is this some kind of bust?
Well, it's very impressive, yes, but we need to ask you a few questions.
God damn, there's a lot of stupid bastards walking around. Carry a little pad and pencil with you. You wind up with 30 or 40 names by the end of the day.
Yeah, you fucking.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get laid.
Your bargaining posture is highly dubious.
You know what your problem is? You're putting the pussy on a pedestal.
That's the second time I've heard that. What is the pussy on a pedestal thing?
Shit. Yup.
Prepare ship for ludicrous speed.
Papyrus. Rolling papyrus.
Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes!
What is going on, everybody? Hail the chat. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody's watching over on Twitter. I'm going to get Rumble set up at some point. I will actually get that done. But for right now, rocking and rolling here on YouTube. Thanking everybody for being here. Thanking you. Bear runs on Beartime. This is the thing you have to understand. I should have told him a half hour ago. Bear's going to be here. But he's dealing with Bear stuff. As soon as he shows up, we are going to say hi to him. Wanted to say that had a great stream this last week. Had a two-parter. Mortal Coil's birthday. Guys, please subscribe to Immortal Coil. Link should be in the description below. And we covered The Little Shaman. Had a good time. We did two of those shows. I talked a whole lot the first one, and he talked a whole lot the second one. This week, we're going to be covering Richard Grannon. I'm looking forward to presenting that material to you guys and giving the best assessment that we possibly can. Also, going to be having at some point my boy Snowdub Music and Entertainment. He's going to be joining us over here on Dragonstorm for a discussion with him. Just had a talk with him earlier. Had an interview for the Phantom Menace Volume 2, my upcoming book. Going to be releasing clips for that on author Stephen Walton channel. It was really good to talk to somebody that I came up with, someone that's been here with me since the beginning. We went different tracks, and a lot of us soul fatties. The first crew hung out with the fatties. A lot of us kind of went in our own directions, did our own things, and that's most especially true for Soda Music and Entertainment. He took puppeteering to a whole new level. If you guys were into comedy, if you're into just having a good time, sitting back, joking, laughing, some booty breaks, please check out Snow W Music Entertainment. That's my brother over there. And I'm glad to have him as an addition to the Phantom Menace Volume 2. Well, let's see. Hail the chat. Somebody, I need to say hail to the chat. Who's lurking? If you are interested in further content from my channel for narcissistic abuse awareness and recovery from a spiritual perspective, please check out my Instagram, check out TikTok. There is no greater... Oh, thank God, Tim. Thank God, Tim. He showed up in the chat. Yeah, well, no, we're not having booty breaks here. That's a Snow Dub. We'll probably, when Snow Dub comes over next week, we'll do booty breaks. Promise. How you doing, Tim? Good to see you. Hail, brother. Take a loss and turn it into a win. It's something that Snow and I were talking about before and a little bit after the interview I had with him earlier for my book. Is you make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Don't blame yourself for making any mistakes, any setbacks. I mean, especially if you're doing something new, there's always a learning curve. For a lot of us that started out on YouTube, there was just a learning curve in order to get, as far as we have. And any mistake that you may make, you can overcome. And we learn this a lot when we talk about going through a relationship or getting over the traumatization that can happen when you are targeted for harassment or raised by a narcissist. You lose your mind at some point, but you will overcome. You can overcome. You can find yourself again. You own your mistakes, understand the lessons that you have learned when going through them, and then you continue on. You push forward. This introspection, self-mastery, finding yourself is the most important thing in order to progress as a person on this planet, in our collective. Because if you don't, then you're going to run around and be toxic. You're going to run in the same toxic cycles. You're going to run in self-defeat. You're going to destroy yourself over and over again. This is why you see toxic personalities never, they can achieve, but they never really win. I mean, let's talk about the Illuminati. The governments and the owls in Hollywood and stuff. But when it comes to just your average person, content creator, comic book artist, writer, whatever the case is, if you continue to run in cycles of self-defeat, you will defeat yourself. You will alienate yourself. You will never achieve the greatness that you can. You will never reach your full potential. If you are stuck in a routine of blaming other people, creating drama, platforming drama, living in drama within yourself because you are unhealed, you are going to eventually isolate yourself from everyone else. You're never going to hit that next level that you could hit. If you own your shit, try and be a better person, be good to yourselves and be good to each other. That's why I say it every week, along with wash your hands and wash your ass. Hey, Jessica, how you doing? Good to see you. When all the ladies get in here, I have a new meme for y'all. But all four of you have to be in the chat at the same time. So if Beth and Angela and Jillian show up, then I'm going to show that meme, I promise. Good to see you. By the way, guys, in case you don't already know, this program is sponsored by Scott's Meat. Scott's Meats are lean. They are clean, vasectomized, and mean. So please make sure to look out for Scott's Meats. Please subscribe to Sporking News Podcast. My brother over there, Gina Carano approved. Also, when we get this channel up to 50K, the Trainwreck Express is going to be a rolling through. All right, me and myself and Immortal Coil, two damaged fucks traveling the world, convincing you of your worth, teaching you the middle finger boundary, the art of savage spirituality, filling souls and stuffing holes. And also, please, I can't see that yet. Also, please subscribe to Immortal Coil. He is like $5.99. He is almost at 600 subscribers. Can you please share out a link to Immortal Coil's channel? They're spelled with ones. Those aren't I's. Those are ones. He justifies it somehow. But please do that, because if he doesn't, he's going to have to keep selling. He's going to have to keep selling his plasma. And then he's going to look like Ryan Roger Athy used to look. And you don't want that. Nobody deserves that. So please, subscribe to Immortal Coil. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm basically, look, I'm going to try and bullshit as long as I can before Bear gets here. Beartime is Beartime. Anyway, so overcoming mistakes, overcoming your past, learning your own lessons, continuing on, forging on. Look, determination will get you through anything. Self-belief, self-love. If you don't love yourself, you can't be a friend to somebody else. If you don't love yourself, then you're going to exist in this matrix where it is okay to cast aspersions, go after other people. We saw this a lot early in. I think Bear and I are probably going to talk a little bit about TFM and early TFM. The Fandom Menace, which was the group that I first came up in, was fighting against these extremist propagandists using our modern mythologies as platforms to espouse their bigotry, their ists and their isms, because they hated themselves. Megalomaniacs, egotistical, narcissistic types. We saw them all throughout the writers group, all the creative team, which were not very creative. As we see, Disney Star Wars has lost money. And the reason that their work sucked, the reason that the sequel trilogy was awful, and just about everything else they've done, with the exception of maybe some Mandalorian, and I like Rogue One myself, is because it didn't come from a positive place. It didn't come from love for the lore. It didn't come from a camaraderie with the fans. You had Disney Lucasfilm, which were completely at odds with their fans. The socio-political extremists, or they're using that progressive extremist ideology, was used in a way to validate destroying legacy characters, creating bad films that had tons of messaging in them, and then gaslighting and blaming the fans of these franchises, just over and over again. Right? We all of us, regardless of your race, creed, where you came from, regardless of your belief system, your culture, you were a 40-year-old white man baby living in your mother's basement because you hated black people and you were afraid of women. And that was just their narrative. It was something that was quite confusing to myself and all other fans who were trying to criticize these films, or those films, for what we believed was bad about them. And the narcissistic types on Twitter, the progressive hate mobs, the Antifas, they would point the finger and gaslight, and they would go after your job. They would go after your financial viability. They would go after your reputation. One of the counters to this was another group that spawned up, which is now falling apart, thank the gods, under the guise of supporting independent comic creators, led by a grandiose narcissist who continually holds smear streams, destroys other people's financial viability, goes after and attacks other people, points the finger, cries that they're the victim, while they're causing chaos and havoc and isolating others, and just smear campaigning like you wouldn't believe. Just the complete degradation, the destruction, the attempted destruction of their target's character. We're seeing at this time, at least for me, because I fell prey to this hate group, Comicsgate. It's a hate group. I fell prey to these smear campaigns and that hate group myself for a time. And they especially came after me when I was going through narcissistic abuse, because they recognized their own causing destruction and they wanted to jump on the dog pile. We are now seeing, here I am years later, and I'm now seeing it fall apart. The narcissist who leads this hate group is beginning to isolate himself, has become very controlling. He is now threatening people who are walking away. He is giving veiled threats. You're not going to make any money over there. You're not going to be good over there. While gaslighting fans, so to speak, into believing that the healthy support system that creator left to go and hang out, to go be around, they're the most worst people in the world. So we saw, it's very strange that we saw the SJWs, the social justice warriors, the Antifa types, the corporate Black Lives Matter types, the progressive extremists out there who are gaslighting, shifting blame, playing crying victim while they were creating havoc and labeling other people. We see this very same culture enter this world of that was created called Comicsgate. And they do the exact same thing. They are the SJWs of their comic realm. It's if you remove your energy from toxic people for long enough, if you do not engage, if you have to engage, you do. You will see them wither. You will see the vine wither. Toxic people destroy themselves. Narcissistic people who look at others as objects, as tools. They don't have friends. They have pieces on their board because they are the center of the universe. When you leave them alone long enough And of course, as I've said plenty of times, ladies and gentlemen, your narcissist is your trash collector. So make sure to see who that person hangs out with and understand when there is a cluster of flying monkeys or toxic people hanging around a narcissist who is actively destroying others. It's consuming lives, destroying reputations and financial viabilities. That they accept that behavior. They're just like that. They're co-signing. And as I've seen recently, I have watched as certain people who at first were totally fine, yellow flash, totally fine with the destruction of other people, the targeted harassments and this narcissistic behavior. And now we see as Comicsgate, this hate group has become more and more toxic, has isolated themselves further, has caused enough havoc in so many directions, because how else does a narcissist or narcissistic culture thrive? That people that have been co-signing and agreeing to this behavior because they were the top dogs at the time are now walking away. And now, quite frankly, I don't mind seeing a narcissist getting isolated, and I don't mind seeing that type of hate group start to whittle down and self-destruct and destroy itself. It should happen. But I am definitely not going to keep my eyes, and nor should you, from anyone, with very few exception, from anyone who co-signs to a narcissist's ways, to harassing, to doxing, to destroying other people's reputation. You should always recognize that person, for the longest time or for the amount of time they were hanging around that narcissist, agreed with that behavior. They co-signed to that behavior. Now, they could have had a Mei-Lu. They could have had an amazing reflection of self, or, quite possibly you are dealing with narcissists, been duped in by the lies and illusions that a narcissist gives you in order to keep you locked in their sphere of influence. That could very well happen, and if that does, then I'm glad that it did. But always remember to trust a person's actions, not their words. If you are in a situation where someone has been a willing participant in smear campaigns and the destruction of other people's financial viability, the destruction of their character, their reputations, just because they jump ship doesn't mean they've changed. Keep an eye on that person's actions. And of course, if this affected you, don't ever deal with people like that again. If they change, good for them. One love. Glad you're on a better course. Hope you become a better version of yourself. But I'm always going to remember the trash person that you were. Oh, there's 3 of them in here already. Oh shit. We got 3 of the ladies in here already. Am I looking for one more? Jessica. We're looking for Jillian. Jillian shows up. I got a meme for y'all. Let me see real quick. Adventures with Beth is in the chat. Hail, sister. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Angela's up in here. I've been threatened by another YouTuber. I'm talking about this right now, actually, because Angela, you've been through the same thing in the sphere that you operated in, which is different than mine. As it sits right now, this narcissist who runs a hate group called Comicsgate, under the guise of promoting other comics, it is actually a cult of personality, a toxic cult of personality, which will admonish anyone instantly who does not fall in line with the narcissistic narrative, with the smear campaigns, and then they set about gaslighting and destroying them. They set about going after them. This is what narcissistic cultures do, what narcissistic cliques do. And so what we're seeing right now, they've gone too far. This hate group has actually gone too far at some point. They started attacking wives, family members, shit that should just be off the table, like just basic human decency. Why are you doing this? There's no reason for this. Not that anyone on the internet is free from any type of criticism, because we all are. You're all going to get memed or joked about at some point. You got to have a thicker skin than that. But targeted harassments. And when you are targeted for harassment by a group like Comicsgate, which has a long history of doing this, doxing, attacking, endorsing the most toxic and negative behaviors, you know who you're dealing with. You know exactly what you're dealing with as soon as the first flurry begins. And what I'm watching right now, Angela, it's a beautiful thing. The toxicity of this group has become so pronounced. There are so many victims of their harassment that have just had enough and speak out against them, that they're beginning to implode. They're isolating and imploding upon themselves. Now, of course, there's still going to be tons of drama streams and smear streams. And of course, the narcissistic people, toxic people, they're just going to keep hating for as long as they can hate while playing the victim. But I'm watching this implosion happen, and it's amazing to see. Hating other people because their successes are greater than yours. Having such a broken center, you're such a broken person that the only way you can feel better about yourself is smearing and going after other people. Only way to feel better about yourself is to consume someone else's light, to try and destroy them, humiliate, disparage them. It is not a positive culture. It is bent. It's something that is going to implode. And I'm watching that right now, and it's a beautiful thing. So I've been in this community since 2010. I mean, well, I was kind of around the community I'm talking about for about the last 5 years, but yeah. Said I wish I was on a live stream with you. Well, I mean, you want a link? Are you on Twitter, Angela? We need to connect, because I would gladly have you up here, sweetheart. And that is exactly what they do. Toxic personality types. Yeah, and they are built on self-destruction. This is because of the self-hatred they have. They don't like themselves. Doesn't matter. Every laugh, every time that they're sending energy outward to attack another person is simply them escaping the realization of the shit person that they are inside. I have watched this group do this over and over and over again. As I said, I've been victim of it. I mean, time and time again, their little junior narcissists will come after me, and I just swat them away like gnats. You know, I'm not dealing with that toxicity. If I'm going to come after anybody, it's going to be the big narc. The big narc is who I go after, because we started out the same time, same level. That's what I'm going to point out. The root cause of the problem, the person who propagates the toxicity, the attacks, the smear campaigns, the person who completely dismisses any of their own toxic behaviors as being, oh, it's lighthearted. Oh, this is going to happen. No, you're a piece of shit. You're a complete and utter piece of shit. And finally, people see it. Finally. And the last ones that are still defending it are the diehard toxicity. Watch who a person surrounds themselves with. Just watch and understand that some of these narcs, some of these toxic people are chameleons, and they can lie themselves into a group. They can lie themselves into a wedge and lock themselves in a position for a while, but you cannot be that fake forever. You cannot fool people forever. And so it's been a beautiful thing to see. And I didn't even mean to go into all this, to be honest with you. I'm still waiting on Bear. Venture with Best said, I have 2 channels threatening me, but I don't take it seriously. Don't. First off, a threat from a liar is as effective as a fart in a hurricane. It ain't doing nothing. You can't even smell it. It's not affecting anything about the environment, Beth. Let the haters hate and leave a few unblocked so they can report back to headquarters. You know who you are. If you maintain being a good person, a decent person, you keep your values right, control your fifis, don't allow yourself any emotional reactivity. It's the first thing narcissistic or toxic people will use as a defense for the crap that they started. It's to point the finger at the person they have harassed, acting out and going, oh, look, I told you they're unhinged. We know this trick. This is a very, very old, played out trick. So just, you know yourself, you know who you are. Maintain your integrity. It doesn't matter really what another toxic person thinks, or other toxic people. Doesn't matter what they think. They're circling the toilet bowl, sweetheart, and you know it. Maintain yourself and be good. Angela says, when I disagreed with him on child support, he went in full-blown attack mode. He threatened to dox me. He twisted my words and said that I was trying to poison the guy. Well, yeah, they're the victim. The person causing the pain, Angela, is the victim. The person who's lying and cheating and stealing and acting a fool and stalking you and hunting people if they give them a narcissistic injury that affects their broken inner child, because their inner child is so crying and sobbing. They need a baba and a blankie. They need some vanilla wafers and some sugarless juice to calm them down. They're grown toddlers. And anytime that you challenge a liar like that, you challenge their false their false world. They're going to come after you full on. They're going to make threats like this. They're going to fly into narcissistic rage. They're toddlers. Some of them hide it better than others. Absolutely. But when it comes down to emotional regulation, that's why they need supply. That's why they need other people so that they can regulate themselves. They can't do it themselves. They are addictive personalities, and they're addicted to drama and bullshit. And that's all you're going to see come out of them. Threaten to dox you. You know what you should do, sweetheart? Just come out. Own it. If someone threatens to dox you, own who you are. Straight up. You know, don't hide. You don't need to. Ain't no reason for you to hide. You're a forthright person. Angela also says some of his supporters believed his bullshit and others saw that he was a narcissist. So that's okay. There we go. There's a three-sided thing there. All right. So some of the people believe the narcissist bullshit. They're going to. Some people want to. Some people need to. Some people get trapped into this idea that a narcissist is a hero. They fall for that falsehood, that fakeness. And there are a lot of damaged people out in the world who gravitate to other toxic people, other damaged people, to reinforce their perpetual self-defeat, their self-hatred or loathing, or blaming other people for their issues, for their problems. Then there are people who I get fooled. You know, like I can't talk shit. I was fooled by a narc. I was fooled by a few narcs in my lifetime. Now that I've been able to educate myself on what NPD is, narcissistic traits, and I can now look back in retrospect and say, oh, that's why they did that, because they're like this. So you know, some people do get fooled, but they will come around eventually. And the ones who see a narc for a narc are people who are enlightened enough to be able to see toxic behaviors or hear bullshit when it's said. This is one of the reasons why I am fully and engaged in narcissistic abuse awareness. This is my thing now. This is what I'm going to keep doing, because I had to deal with the blue-haired weirdos on Twitter. I had to deal with the hate mobs. I had to deal with people from my own indie sphere who came in and smeared my name, took advantage of me falling apart. And it is what it is. Oh, shit. Well, my boy is here. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you my boy, Hail the Fourth Wave, one of the first people I ever started streaming with, Bear Nerd Fun.
Yeah, you threw me to the frickin' wolves.
I did. I threw you right into the wolves, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah, you did. Well,
how you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good. And I've been watching. I've been paying attention to what you've been doing, and I gotta say, you're kind of like the new Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous. Nobody wanted to sit by those guys at the restaurant, man, because especially the Alcohol Anonymous guys, they were fucking assholes, and nobody wanted to sit next to them. I remember this growing up as a teenager, and we kind of learned the hard way because we bumped heads with them once or twice. And so it's just like one of those kind of things, man. It's just like there's a lot of goddamn narcissists out there, and that's true. But you can't let them fucking people control your life or get fucking renting space in your head, man. Yeah, and that's just one thing that I've always refused to fucking do. Excuse my language. I don't know if you're allowing cussing or not.
No, you can curse. But Will does it all the time.
It's been a minute since I've been on Alive, man. I haven't gave a shit, really, at all. No one wants to support, so I'm not going to fucking support. It's just the fucking facts of life. And, you know, it's just one of those things. I'm going to be 53 this year, and I can't be compelled to give a shit. It's just like all this stupid fucking politics and both sides getting lost and all that shit. And it's like, you know what? There's a lot of good info on Twitter and a lot of good things happening on Twitter, now X. And, you know, there's a lot of good information out there. But there's a lot of people that are just surfing and being in the background watching what's happening. And I'm one of those kind of people. I'm watching what's happening. I just choose not to participate in the politics. I choose not to participate in parties. And there used to be a time when no one talked about that crap. Nobody talked about anything like that. You were normally talking about what the hell happened that morning, you know? Did you catch a fish? Did you catch a steelhead? If you were from Indiana. Because you're fishing for trout when trout season comes along. You're fishing for coho, chinook, all those wonderful, awesome things you could do. I grew up by the creek. And let me tell you, them game wardens, they got some game, man. They will screw your life up if you step the wrong way.
Really?
Do you know they can walk in your house, man? They don't need no damn warrant.
What?
If they suspect that you were poaching fish illegally, they will walk right the hell in your house.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a national game warden. DNR. DNR. Yeah. And I spent a lot of time down at the creek, and we got to know who all the wardens were. And there was about a 4-ounce lead weight with 4 hooks coming out of it. That's a snagging hook. You get caught with something like that, man, and you're done. You're going to pay a huge fine. So I always fished with lures. And you know, with trout, especially steelhead, they're not going for bait at all. They don't go for bait. They're the steelhead, especially Skamanian steelhead, it's the hardest thing to catch in the creek.
Really?
I've caught one in my life legally.
Why is that? Why are they so difficult to catch?
Because they're aggressive and they're fast, and when they're big, they're about this long. And they can get up to 20 pounds to 30 pounds. Damn. Now, there's fat steelhead, too. And they got sharp-ass teeth. You wouldn't think it, but they do. I've got plenty of marks on my shins from standing in the creek fishing. You don't want to be in their way because they're not trying to bite you. You're just in their way. One time we got caught building, me and Eddie, we got caught building a dam near Old Porter Road in Porter County, Indiana, in Portage. That's where Salt Creek was. And this young undercover game warden, he was in the shadows. We didn't know it. He watched us all day build this pool. We built the dam and created the pool. Mm-hmm. Basically, it gives the fish a place to rest and for us to place to drop lines and catch fish. That's illegal. That is totally illegal. I was 16, he was 17, and we were both minors still. And we just got done. He walks up. Guess what, boys? You're going to tear that dam down or you're going to get a ticket and go to jail.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's what he said. He purposely watched us do it. And so we tore the damn thing down. And it's easier to tear a dam apart than it is to build one.
I believe it.
Thank you. And I'm telling you. So we tore it down. He talked to us, and he was actually cool with us. He wasn't like a dick. He taught us some things, and he's seen how conscientious we were. And the only reason why we got cut slack is because he kind of knew who we were, mm-hmm. and knew that we were like protectors out there, you know. Before it was cool, we were the ones actually telling people, pick your shit up. Take care of yourself. You bring garbage in, you take it out.
Dig that, man.
Spent a lot of time down at the creek, you know. It's an awesome place to be sometimes. But let me tell you, Indiana, northern Indiana weather. Have you ever been to Louisiana?
Yes.
Down by the Gulf? It's that muggy.
Really?
Yes. It is that muggy. Lakes? It is miserable. Oh, yeah. It's because of Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's miserable. Beautiful in the spring. But once you get past spring, because now we're talking about heat index. The humidity makes the heat index go up. Mm-hmm. That shit kills people in Chicago every fucking year, man. Because Chicago gets muggy ass weather too.
That's some extremes for Chicago. They deal with they deal with the cold and they deal with that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeez.
So yeah, it's been a minute. I've stepped back from the channel and decided, well, I'm just gonna wait a little while, see how things turn out and stuff like that. It's the first time I've turned a laptop on in since January.
Really? Sometimes you gotta take a break. That's healthy, man.
Yeah, it just tells you how much I do on the phone, on the smartphone. It's just like I'm getting to the point to where I'm almost outspoken to a degree. Sometimes to my detriment. You know, I seen one of those little fan devices that says you get 0% smoke in the house if you smoke a cigarette by this filter fan. I seen the ad on, I can't remember if it was Facebook or if it was Instagram. I've seen some pretty cool things on there ad-wise. I bought a couple things that were cool. I picked up this cool little lighter. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it.
Okay, hold on. I'll play up. Hold on. Oh, wow, dude. That's pretty cool looking, man.
All brass.
Where does it light from?
Right there.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah, I haven't fine-tuned it.
So, Mike does. What's up, MC Mike does? Hail, brother. He says, Walton loves to eat fish. Well, yeah, I don't know. It smells like fish. It's a dish. You know what I mean? Mike also says freshwater fish is the best, and he seems to love trout.
Yeah, it is. I think my favorite of the white trout meat is probably Chinook and coho. But see, the problem with eating fish out of the lakes and rivers in northern Indiana, it's all poisoned. The still mills have poisoned all the water. It's illegal to tap a ground well in Lake County.
What?
Yeah. The groundwater is poisoned. You'd have to have a mega heavy. Oh no, thank you. I don't want to try your AI. I just had a pop up on the browser. Try our AI. It's like, no, thank you.
No.
But yeah, it's one of those things. What'd you think of that lighter, man? It takes lamp oil.
Yeah.
Very similar to lamp oil. Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Oil. Yeah. Yeah.
No shit.
I haven't used it yet.
Mike's asking about snow mills. I guess he never heard of snow mill trout.
I know I said steel mills. The steel mills poison the lake. You got trout wise. You got there's Chinook, coho. You'd see rainbow trout now and then too in the creek. Steelhead and Skamanian steelhead and fat steelhead. Two different types of steelhead. But man, they will fight. I've only caught one Skamanian steelhead in my life, and it took me an hour and a half to reel it in.
Damn,
those suckers fight. And if you're near a log jam, forget it. Your line's gonna break. I don't care how strong your line is, and we use 200-pound tests. We weren't fooling around.
Right. That's incredible. So
I've seen 200-pound tests break with steelhead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So are you gonna start working on your channel again or live streaming again? RR comes through.
Yeah.
Reminds us of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I ain't done. I'm just
taking a break.
Taking a break. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell everybody in the chat what your channel's about and what you do over there, Bear.
Well, I'm like a lot of other channels. I talk about movies, TV shows, and the crappy ones and the good ones, and and my message is always good writing. Bottom line, good writing. If the writing sucks, the show's gonna suck. The movie's gonna suck. It depends on the writing. If you got people that are willing to stick their necks out a little bit and write some good stories, it'll be good. People will throw money at it, man. Write good stories, do good stuff. People will pay. I mean, it's really stupid and illogical, to use a Vulcan term, to not pander to your fans. They'll spend money. I mean, it's a given. It's a no-brainer.
It is. I don't understand it. Attacking the fans has been a thing for years, and where does it got them? You hear that Disney finally admitted they lost money buying Lucasfilm. Finally admitted it, as if we didn't know that was going to be the case.
Shit, their board of directors are going fucking nuts, man. They're finally catching on to this woke shit's losing them money.
Yeah.
But you see, there's a lot of people that are saying Hollywood is dead, and for a lot of really deep, dark, and ugly, nefarious reasons, it's dead. And at this point, I'm going to say the honest ones that led clean lives are the ones that are going to survive. All the other ones, curtains for them.
We hope. I mean, yes, absolutely. I'm right there with you. We talk about that a little bit on this channel because it ties into behavioral disorders, toxic behavior disorders.
And where do you think all the woke orders came from?
The Illuminati.
Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove, yeah. Yeah,
that's as far as I'll go with that subject.
Yeah, we still code word over here, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
Oh hell yeah!
It is the psychopaths, the narcissists who do things with children, have been for decades, and they're finally getting exposed for that.
And it's like they're kicking
brother.
and screaming. They're kicking and screaming.
Absolutely.
But yeah, all the things about the rap industry, the TV industry. I mean, there's documentaries about it now on Max and other places. Nickelodeon with all their garbage going on.
You know what's crazy, Bear, right? When the internet was less regulated, because it's heavily regulated by the top 13 now. You would go to places like 4chan and they would talk about Dan Schneider. They would talk about the things that were going on in these production houses. This information's always been out there. Where has the mainstream media been? Where has the news been? Have they? How do you feel? Have they failed us, Bear?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's you got your bright lights that were shining here and there that they shone for sure, but they were knocked down, fired, something created to fire them over. Basically, not a team player a lot of times, and human resources in companies and corporations rarely do any good for the human. There's no resources in there for humans. It's
not if they're run by people with gender studies.
It should be called corporation resources.
Yeah. Yes.
Where they farm you out and treat you like an animal and shit like that. They used to sing about Maggie's farm in a song, and the main saying was not working on Maggie's farm no more. Make our own farm, do our own work.
Do our own thing, absolutely. And that's the kind of what we've been doing over here on YouTube for 5 years now, Bear. 5 years now. We've been out here talking about these topics and engaging in this culture war we didn't even want to be involved in.
We had to. We had to say things.
We had to. Absolutely. Bear, if you guys don't know, Bear has been one of my spiritual advisors for years now. This man has been here for me time and time again, always there when I need him, when I called. He's supported me. When I was going through the toughest times of my abusive relationship, Bear was sent food and always sent coffee, because he said coffee is a necessity. And thank you so much for that, Bear.
Coffee's like a vitamin, man.
Yes.
Coffee's as essential as vitamin C sometimes.
Guy, if you really would, I'd appreciate if you supported and subscribe to Bear, so when he starts streaming again, check out his streams. They're a lot of fun late night. There's a question here from Mike Does, I think that we're both qualified to answer. He says, I do not understand the full meaning behind this woke thing. And would you like to start?
Sure, yeah. A lot of the woke started with when they replaced people with green eyes, blue eyes, and red hair with darker skinned folks and put them in there. And then they would take characters that were played by, let's say, any Norse kind of creations, Norse-wise. I have Norse heritage. Well, they weren't people of color, man. They were Vikings. They had pale skin. Right. And then you take those characters and put in a black or African-American character in there. And I don't care how good the writing is, you're going to offend a whole population of people. Especially people from Norway and wherever all the Norse heritage comes from, all over Norway. I think Sweden and a few other countries near Norway. And there was a lot of TV shows. I love those TV shows, Vikings, but there was a huge whole bunch of bad mistakes made. But some of the writing and the stories was pretty good. And that's pretty much what woke is. They replace characters, and they're saying it's more diverse. Well, it's more diverse if people are basically judged by their talents, not by the tone of their skin. That's basically what woke is.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm half Mexican Indian from my mom's side of the family, and I'm a second generation born outside Scotland. And yes, I do have Norse blood from that Scottish blood, because we rubbed elbows with Vikings up there. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
times,
absolutely
they
did.
were friends and allies.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the word woke, from my understanding, comes from the 80s, 90s. It was a black Afrocentric term, American term. That meant you looked at history through the lens of experience, not what the person wrote. You look at history because history is written by the victors. You know, it's kind of that mentality. So there's a lot of works out there that review history that are prejudicial. And that's what the term meant. What happened was you have these extremists, your Antifa types, your corporate Black Lives Matter types, your social justice warrior types, who took that word and appropriated it because they're all about defeating colonization. So they would appropriate that term and twisted it and turned it and used it to mean that if you were woke, you believe the false narrative, you believe the lie, as opposed to woke meaning you don't believe the lie. Woke in today's culture is, from my understanding, when you are a person who is racist or sexist, and you point the finger at someone else and say, you're a racist and a sexist because you don't believe in my racism, sexism. It's all about twisting, reutilizing, and gaslighting the population. Woke, again, is another thing that was taken and misused purposefully.
Well, the first time that wokeness was used was by the English in the days of William Wallace.
Here we go, brother.
We're talking the 1300s.
Okay, brother, keep going.
And to be Scottish was to be less than a dog. To be Irish was less than a dog, and this is back in those days. And that's pretty much basically wokeness. And the Scots weren't treated well for a very long time, and they decided to fight back. And sure, a lot of the stuff in that Braveheart movie was fictionalized in some ways, but there was a lot of battles that actually did happen. And there's a huge history there. There's monuments to the William Wallace over there. And my great-grandfather was in the Gordon Highland Brigade, and his father was also in the Gordon Highland Brigade. My great-grandfather's brother was in the Gordon Highland Brigade. And they're from the county of Ayr in Scotland. And
for those that don't know, what is that brigade? The Gordon Highland Brigade.
Basically, the Highlanders, a faction of the Highlanders. Yeah. And my great grandfather and my great great grandfather, they went all over the world because of their military. They were officers.
Nice, nice, man. Wow, that's a rich family history, Bear. Something to be very
well.
Proud
I traced it back 5 grandfathers. Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of Scots that are here now are here because our ancestors fought. If our ancestors wouldn't have fought, we wouldn't be here right now. And the same thing with my mom's side of the family, Aztec Indian. Out of population, I think it was I want to say 240,000. Only 10,000 was left. And the only reason why we know that is because the Catholic monks that were traveling with the conquistadors were keeping immaculate records of population.
How I know that, like, because your heritages kind of deal with the same as mine. How do you deal with looking at history, like you just said, the Catholic Church, the Catholics kept great records. How do you deal with looking at that from the perspective of a descendant of the people who were killed or who were burned?
Oh, it's a hell of a thing because there's a thing called transference, and there's actually a study on it that was done. I don't remember the name of the person that did the study, but they were Native American, and the atrocities that Native Americans experience. The memory of it is passed down through DNA. There's ancestral memory through DNA, and it was proven in a study. I actually used it in a court case and pretty much won that court case. Just
beautiful.
So you know, yeah.
Good. I mean, that's like a generational PTSD.
Yes,
that happens to a culture.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't even realize it. I mean, the whole Mexican culture is based off of Indian culture with Spanish influence, and the majority part of the language was based off of Aztec language, which is Mexica. That's the real name of the Aztec, called Mexica.
Mexica, thank you.
Yeah. And I learned all this a few years ago. I ran across some Aztec elders, and they told me to get a book called Rebuilding the Mexica Nation. And they have the whole language in that book. Let me tell you, man, there's words that long. Yeah, and Tenochtitlan is where Mexico City is now, and it means the place of the prickly-peared cactus. And learning how to say Tenochtitlan without tying my tongue in a knot was like just wow. Yeah,
you've got it in your blood, though.
Yeah. So it's really funny is I don't mix the spiritualities of either one of my cultures.
Dude, I was just about to go into that topic. You were so I
experienced a funny thing. You know, I prayed a creator, Wakantanka or Tankashla, and I felt the presence of Odin. At the same time.
Wow.
And I'm just scratching my head like, okay, who do I talk to about this? This never happened to me before. What elder do I choose to talk to about this?
Yeah. The elders were there for you.
And, you know, I wear a Thor's hammer every now and then. You know?
Yeah, brother.
Because after that happened, I got a Thor's hammer.
Nice. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you've said to me so many times you don't mix cultures. But are there commonalities between those two cultures?
I think there is the possibility of commonality.
Okay.
Between the Celtic, the Norse, and North American native spirituality. I mean, I've been taught a few different ways, but, you know, I was taught not to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
In detail.
Okay.
Brief references is okay. But in my own experience, it was interesting. I never experienced that before. Overwhelming feeling of calm, energy, electricity. Yeah. Experience and sensing both. It's like, shit, these guys allies or something? Made me wonder.
Yeah.
Made me wonder. So, yeah, and a lot of times, you know, I don't worry about things because I know Creator's going to take care of it. Always has. Always has.
Beautiful. We have a few questions in the chat, and then we'll go on to the next topic. Angela says, good actors and actresses help. Yes, because there's very few out there at this point, and they're dealing with an entire, what I call, it is a Luciferian cult.
Yeah, I've heard that term.
Yeah, I've adopted it, you know, because I think it fits. When you're dealing with a cult, look what's going on with P. Diddy. Look at the music industry, and understand that's only just a tip of the iceberg. That's just what we're being allowed to see.
Hey, Diddy Dumb is a whole new reference.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Angela says they haven't come out with an original good movie in a long time. Everything is a remake. Yeah, because they can't come up with ideas.
I just noticed they allow the YouTube channel to integrate with the Yard chat. Wasn't I complaining about that for the longest time?
Yes, you were. Absolutely.
One of many things about StreamYard.
I'm glad they finally listened, Bear. Mike says anything to do with channels like BET, All Black Act. No. Okay, what Bear was trying to say is, if you take a character that has been established in lore for a long time, there's a fan base built up on it, and that character has red hair and green eyes, and then for the sake of diversity, they've put a black person in that role. It is not for diversity. It is an excuse to aggravate the fans, to disrespect the legacy and lore. That way, when the fans have a problem, they can point the finger and project and gaslight.
When BET first came out, I liked it. There was good stuff on there.
Yeah, dig that. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, because it wasn't racially charged.
I grew up in Gary. One of my best friends was my friend Jamar. I've known him since I was 7.
Dude, I hear you. I just spent this last weekend, Saturday in Baltimore, all black club. Black clubs are the funnest clubs. They're, very animated, powerful, a lot of energy, great people. Then I spent Sunday at an event in Philly, which was heavily black, but great people. Ate some soul food, Bear. Reminded me why I came home. It was so good, man.
Hey, Mrs. Emery made the best soul food. Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had her okra.
Really?
Okra and greens. Man. And her cornbread was really good, too.
I had some cornbread, too, man. Oh, I love cornbread. Just I can't have enough of it. Angela said she's an Italian-American. Well, I like Italians. Good girl. Come on now. Coffee. Let's get together. You're in Philly. Adventures with Beth is out here giving a link out to Bear Nerd Fun. Guys, please subscribe to my boy Bear. Yeah, and Beth's one of the greatest mods I have out here, man. I love the Dragonstorm community. Love everybody. We have a lot of jokes. We stand up for one another. Go ahead.
You notice Jessica is posting Ariel. Is that the Ariel on X? That guy's a sensation.
I am not sure. Where's she at? Oh, there's a lot. Oh, Ariel.
He's Patriot 1 in the handle.
No, they were talking about
Ariel.
No, she was talking about the Little Mermaid. Ariel from the Little Mermaid. Yeah. That's why they did that.
She's a pretty actress. They should have created a character for her.
They could have told a different...
Accentuate her character. Instead, they screwed her over and gave her someone else's character, like Leftovers,
But that's what they do, right? They say, okay, black people don't have enough representation, so we're not going to create something new for them. We're going to appropriate another character while bitching about appropriation. And it puts the actor in a bad spot. Nobody complained that Blade was black, because Blade's black. That was a great movie. I love Blade 1, If you put a white dude in that role, I would be upset, because that's not Blade.
That's not Blade.
It's not Blade. There are tons of colored characters out there. I don't need saying colored. There are plenty of non-European descent
need to do another Blade.
Yes, he does. I wish he could. I wish he would. Beth says
wasn't he in prison for a minute?
Yeah, he didn't pay. He didn't pay his taxes because taxation is theft.
Do you know, one point in time, you would never go to prison over something like that?
No, because
they had debtor prisons. England in the early days, they had debtor prisons. If you were in debt, your ass got sent to somewhere in Georgia.
Really?
Yeah, there was plantations the English had in the early days of the colonies. Yeah, if you were a debtor, someone bought your debt and you were sent to a work farm.
Indentured servitude. Oh, right.
Hey,
right.
Have you seen that one show? What the hell is the name of that show? It's best pirate show in the.
Black Flag.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. They showed some debtor farm examples in that show, and I'm like, they made it look really bad, man. It's like shit.
I don't think it was fun.
No.
Adventures with Beth says, I'm part Scottish and have a castle over there if you want it. What? That's great. Oh, Mike says woke to Zionism is essentially the Zionists of the nationalists, and they believe they are better than you. Yes. If you believe that you're better than someone, that's a toxic way. Go ahead, bro.
The woke stuff starts with the Bolsheviks that started communism. That's where it starts.
Yeah.
The Soviet, there's a checklist the Soviets had for destroying a country from within. And it's pretty much what the Weather Underground folks use. They use the same stuff. I don't want to say the guy's name. Honestly, I can't remember it either. But, he was buddies with a certain president at one point.
Barry, you need to come back. You need to come back for a show with Coyle and I, man, because this is stuff we talk about, dude. You're right on it. Let's see. Anybody else? I feel weird. I feel weird being a Chinese American. Honey, no. We need you, Asian lady. We love you, Asian ladies out there, Jessica. No. We need more.
I do like Thai food and I do like Chinese food.
There you go.
Some of the spicier dishes. I think one is pronounced General Tao.
Yeah, you
don't pronounce the S or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I said it wrong then. Yeah, he's right. Look, Bear's still schooling me years later. I ain't learned everything Bear has to offer.
You got to understand, there's a lot of Asian food places out here, and you go into every grocery store, it's got some Asian food, good stuff, and it's kind of in the Thai food style. And
okay,
you ever have pork fried rice? Well, Chinese style pork fried rice is a little different. I think the Thai pork fried rice is more steamed. The meat is steamed fried. Okay. And I think it's a little different that way. I noticed the difference because I'm in Indiana. The pork fried rice out in Indiana, they use the barbecue pork and cut it up, and then they do the pork fried rice. That's what I remember. And the pork fried rice I had was pretty good, but it was different,
better?
A little different. I wouldn't say it's better. I would just say it was a different style.
Oh, okay.
And it depends on what style you prefer. I like both.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to check that out.
Orange chicken.
Orange chicken, yes.
Sweet and sour chicken. Because what I would do is I go to the top food grocery store and hit the Asian delicatessen, and I would get either orange chicken or sweet and sour chicken, and it would get like, it's like pulling nails to get the lady to put the chow mein all over the thing and not in the bins, and put everything on top.
Right.
It took 20 minutes of trying to convince her to do that because she was not going to do it the way she didn't know how. And I'm like, no, this is the way I want it.
Right.
And they don't really speak English, broken English. They don't really understand what you're saying. So it's mostly hand motions. and finally, every time I would go in there like 4 times, and finally, every time I would go in there, they'd know me. They know exactly how I wanted it. And so they put my sticky rice in one section, and the rest be chow mein, and on top of the chow mein.
Nice.
And then you can sticky rice in between.
I'm so hungry now. Look, Jessica, you got us hungry. So actually, Beth's going to bring up something I wanted to talk to you about because it's another topic we kind of cover on this channel. She says she's part of a paranormal community. Bear has told me some stories that have blown my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to bring up one, if you don't mind. You believe you saw a skinwalker at some point, didn't you? A shape changer.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Could you tell Beth that story? She'd love to hear that.
Well, I was in Utah in '98, and I just came off of the Other Ones tour. It was the first big tour since Jerry had been gone, and it was all the members of the Grateful Dead that got together, and they had a few different people filling in for Jerry's part, and it was beautiful. It was just a beautiful scene. And so I was at the end, and I was with friends. I ended up in this van, and it was full of peyote. And I figured it out because I could feel the energy. And we went from the Golden Gate area, Marin County area, California after the tour. We hit all the little festivals, little town festivals that was going on. It was the end of July. And there was some cool stuff going on. Art, every kind of art piece you can think of, just stuff, and small little town festivals that we were stopping at on the way back. And I was bumming. We were bumming money because we had no choice. And I had this guy give me $10 and grab my shoulders and pray over me, and to turn this $10 into $100, and for us to be fed. Well, we got about $150 for gas, and we were fed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blessed be.
Before we went out to California, we were in Vegas first. And there's this little Italian restaurant. I can't remember the name of it, but they feed hippies. And we went up there, and they says, "Hold on, we'll be right." Guy told us, "Just wait here." And so we did. He came out and he brought us food. There was some serious kindness going on that I experienced in '98. And then we made our way into Utah. And I've been picking up on this vibe from the Dreddy. He was driving. His girlfriend was the sweetest thing you ever seen. And I go to her, I go, "How much peyote's in the vehicle?" Point blank. And she looks at me like, "How'd you know?" I go, "I could feel it." She goes, "He's a road man. A lot." That's what she said. First time I had hemp pancakes. There you go. Yes. I had hemp pancakes. After asking the question, I started eating pancakes.
Right.
So, they introduced me to my friend Scott from over there. And then they're like, "Oh, we got this program, this impact program. You want to come check it out?" Like, "Yeah, sure." So we go to Loa. It's like Loa. It's like smack dab in the middle of Utah. Slightly more north and south. And we were going up into the Hidden Lakes, Wolf Lake area. And I was told that they got it wrong. They named them wrong. Hidden Lake is Wolf Lake. Wolf Lake is Hidden Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And we walked by them, and it was the most beautiful water you ever seen. Aspen trees growing everywhere.
Oh man!
You know what? You know what's in aspen leaves, right? Acrylic acid.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? I grab a leaf and stick it under my tongue.
Yeah.
And I grab some for later.
Right.
Because we're not eating and we're not drinking at that point. When we get to where we're going, that's when we start hydrating. So we finally get up to this big, huge cliff. I think we're maybe 7,000 feet up, 6,000 feet up. And across the mountainous valley, there's these other broken cliff tops sticking up out of the ground. Every freaking color of the rainbow because the sun's getting ready to go down. And it's like being in the Grand Canyon almost. And so we got a fire going, and the native guy, that's Yaki, that's with us, that is our guide, he's got this grandfather peyote button. Yeah, peyote seems to be popping up a lot. He's got this grandfather peyote button in mandala beadwork. And he says this is what this is. He was straight up honest about it. And so we were told the story about one of the guys that is one of the people that leads people out into the field. It's basically impact for youth, last chance youth. Mm-hmm. So basically, it's their last chance before they get sent to juvie permanently until they're 18. And we were on it called Impact. And apparently, I had a reaction to the iodine. Didn't know I was having a reaction. Mm-hmm. I learned that later. But he's telling us the story around the campfire, and every time one of us starts talking, and it was all in clockwise, and the smoke went toward the person. Every time someone changed, the smoke went toward that person. A lot of high energy, a lot of really good energy. Mm-hmm. And so he's telling us one of the impact leaders of the group grabbed a piece of pottery from one of the mesas in the lowlands, and he's going down the highway from the place where he took the pottery from, and he's doing 55 because of 55-mile-an-hour road, and he looks to his right, And he damn near just shit himself right then and there because this coyote, huge freaking coyote, was running at 55 mile an hour. Yeah. So he looking at this thing, and this thing just slams right in the truck. Everything in that truck just shuts off. Comes to a stop. And he gets out of the truck to look at this coyote. Would you get out of a truck?
No.
I'm familiar with coyotes in Gary, Indiana. Yes, we got them there. Yeah, you don't approach him. No. Guy had balls, gotta say, even though he was shitting himself scared. So this coyote shapeshifted into this old Native American man. Real pissed off look on his face, and he points back at the mesa he came from, the ruin. And the message was pretty much, put that shit back or we're going to have problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he gets back in the truck. Truck starts before it wouldn't start. Turns around, goes back, puts it back in. He even goes so far as brushes feet print out.
Yeah.
He's scared at this point.
Yeah.
He's like, this thing going to eat me or something. And he does like 100 miles an hour all the way back to shop. I met the guy. The story I just told you was what he told me.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he got out of his truck, that part was left out. And so that night, it gets better. So that night, I get in my wiggy, it's a sleeping bag, mummy bag, and I wasn't feeling that great. Something didn't sit right with me. I think I'm having an allergic reaction to the iodine and combination of altitude sickness, because we went from 3,000 to 6,000 pretty quick. That's why we stopped and stayed the night right there to acclimate. But I didn't respond well to it. I got up in the middle of the night and puked. And then when I was getting back in my biggie, there was a black widow this big.
Oh my God.
That big. In the bag with me. And I help it get out, and I go back to sleep. You know what that black widow was, right?
It was a sign. What was it?
It was a skinwalker.
Get out.
We were being watched the whole time. I told my now departed teacher, Moon, about this. And the one thing that he told me was they come in twos.
They come in pairs.
Yeah. So if you see one, there's another one lurking. And if you heard it, you're dead. So he told me. That's what Moon told me. He goes, you're dead. In fact, he said, you should be dead. He did the hand motion thing. He was really upset by the story. It really bugged him.
I mean, did he give you an explanation as to why they come in pairs, or does one look after the other?
You got to remember, Moon was Iroquois Confederacy, and he's learned several different ways from different tribes and all that.
Okay.
And the fact the skinwalkers are very, very well known. Most people that are native know about them. Mm-hmm. And basically, it was my reverence and respect for the land that got me out of there. So I wake up the next day, I'm puking, not feeling good, and I look bad. And so and basically 1 iodine pill is for 1 quart of water. I was putting 1 iodine pill to 2 quarts of water. Putting myself at risk for a giardia. Basically something that lives in the water that can really make you sick. And we were drinking Gatorade, powdered Gatorade in the water. And that stuff literally saved my life. Because have you ever walked up a 2 football field length mountain?
No, I can't say that I have.
that's what we had to do after we got to the bottom of the next mountain. So we had to. There was this little trail, switchback and back and forth up the hill next to a creek. And it was so cool. It felt so cool walking up that trail because it was tree covered.
Mm-hmm.
And the water was right next to us. And there was a gentle breeze coming down. It was like air conditioning. How it felt to me. And so when we got up to the top, he took everyone's pulse. My pulse was 153.
Wow.
And he got like, how are you still standing? How are you standing? You should be collapsing. I told him because I was praying and I asked all my ancestors to walk for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I told my ancestors and my guides and all that stuff, I can't do it. You got to do it for me. And so that's what I told them. I was completely delirious. I was seeing everything in spirit. I was telling these kids, they were a little bit younger than me. I was telling them, don't touch that. You touch that, you die. There were stacks of boulders on top of each other. I'm like, don't touch that. They'll get pissed. Don't touch that. And I was talking about spirits around and everything. And they thought they were going to have me helicoptered out of there. And I thought they were going to have me helicopter out of there. I fear helicopter more than I fear dying. So I told my ancestors, got to walk for me. And no, that's how I got out of there. And then beautiful. A blue-eyed, blonde-haired girl named, I think, Bree, nursed me back to health.
Here comes the kill. Right.
And I was not able to perform or do anything. Trust me, I would have tried, but I was in such bad shape. She fed me. She kept me warm. Oh, that was the best part. Kept me warm in her tent, fed me, gave me food, gave me water, took care of me, nursed me back to health.
Blessed.
Man, if I could have performed,
you would have. Adventure with Beth says, I need to hang out with this guy. Beth, you can love Bear. Bear is awesome. You guys would get along. I met Beth on in a tarot chat, and that also is connected to paranormal channels. So Beth actually lives on a haunted battlefield from the Civil War in South Carolina, or I believe it's South Carolina. So she has entities passing through her backyard, literally, all the time. One of them she was telling us about was a person that used to collect body parts off the battlefield, and she sees this ghost walking with a wheelbarrow.
Highlight the adventurer with Beth.
Yeah, Adventures with Beth.
Yeah, highlight her Iroquois comment.
You got it.
Hey, there's a lot of things that a lot of natives are really, really don't want nothing to do with. Number one, whistling at night. I was at a powwow with a brother of mine. He's Crow. And somebody freaking whistled, man. And everybody flipped out and ran for the light post, and stood under it. I had to talk him into going back to the tent. Now, at this particular powwow, there was Sasquatch in the woods all over the place, making noise. There was also, there was also stick Indians. That's where the whistle came from. You know what a stick Indian is? They kind of look like tall, really emaciated, skinny, gray aliens. But they're not.
Oh, shit.
They're not. I was taught about them.
I've never even heard of a stick Indian.
Basically, coastal teachings. I'm in Washington State, in Indian country. And to this day, I don't whistle at night, and my kids don't whistle at night. No one in this house whistles at night. It's one of those prohibitable things. Prohibited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it attracts them. I was told a story about a native brother who whistled at night, and he got something sprinkled on him by one of those stick Indians, and he's seen everything in spirit all at once. Imagine seeing everything in spirit all at once.
No, I couldn't.
Everything, from beginning to end to now. It would drive you insane. And he went to an insane asylum.
My Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, the human mind.
I think it's called Western State.
Mm-hmm.
They may have changed the name, but that's the warning that I was given. Don't whistle at night.
So, I mean, the whistling, because I've heard supposed footage of Sasquatch and the noises they make at night. So that applies to both Stick Indians and to the Sasquatch?
That's just Stick Indian. Sasquatch is a whole different thing. They're guardians. And if a Sasquatch is pissed off at you, mad at you, that means you've invaded some territory that you don't belong, and you better leave fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the video I was watching was like,
all you gotta say is,
things.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you, I'll leave. And they'll hear you. They will.
Immortal Coast talks about Sasquatch.
I've had experiences.
I'd like to hear about them. Real quick, Immortal Coil had said that Sasquatches are highly psychic.
Yeah, the 2 experiences I had, I really can't talk about that.
Oh,
but
you can't? Okay, I'm sorry.
I have had experiences.
Is there anything that you can tell us?
What I can tell you is, when they want to, when they run, they can shake the ground. Like an earthquake.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the females shake the ground almost as much. There's a little bit difference in stride.
Mm-hmm.
That much I can tell you. And they're guardians. My teacher once played kind of a joke on me. And in this situation, I can divulge that a little. He basically pointed to a certain direction and goes, "Oh, there's guardians over there." I found out. When next I seen him, I'm like, "How'd you know?" They were Sasquatch. A mated pair. Because he would often tell me things, but he never explained anything. He left a slight little mystery to it, and then he knew that I would always figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good teacher.
Yeah, he's on the other side camp now. Yeah, he was a good teacher. He taught a good way.
Yeah, to make you how to think. I mean, and you should be taught how to think. Any good teacher. Well, especially if you're the spiritual one, would want to guide you to using your intuition, your connection to the source. There, I actually have a question. So, Native Americans, you specifically, talk about walking with your ancestors, the connection you have with your ancestors. For anyone who doesn't understand what that means, could you describe it?
They literally walked for me. I was not walking. Literal. They were walking for me. Otherwise, I'd be dead now.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. They were actually doing the walking. I wasn't. I was a vessel being filled by them. Sort of like how an angel inhabits a body. Well, all my ancestors were walking for me. Because I prayed to Creator and I asked all my ancestors, come to me now. I need help. I'm going to die if I don't. And I was young.
Mm-hmm.
This was in 98. So yeah, it's literally.
How would a person develop a relationship with their ancestors?
You already have one. You already have one. It's already there. You just have to discover it. The truth.
Yeah.
There's nothing really mysterious about it. It's just you have to be willing to accept who your ancestors were. Because quite honestly, our ancestors, all the sacrifices they made, that's why we're here. Somebody sacrificed their life along the way through our ancestral tree.
That.
Well, there's some that I definitely speak with and talk to. And they're very protective. I wasn't aware of them until one of my friends seen their outline against the dark sky. We just got out of Sweat Lodge. And she jumped. She jumped. It's like, there's a bunch of figures standing behind you. It's like 15, 16 feet wide behind me. I was had shadows behind me with silvery little outlines around them. She jumped. It's like, oh, hi. And then that's when I became aware of them. I'm like, oh, well, hello there.
Right. Yeah, I speak with them. Yeah, speak to them. Beth says, yeah, that's what I was going to say. You speak with them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They are always with you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when in '98, when I was in a bad way, I asked them, please walk for me. I can't.
Beautiful.
Because my one epitaph was, I don't want to go up in no damn helicopter.
Yeah. Pushing through like a tough.
I was like, eagles and birds fly. How about that? I still had a sense of humor, even though I felt like I was going to die. It was bad. So that girl, she nursed me back to health for about 3-4 days.
Good for her, man. Blessed. I think she's an angel. You know, she's being your angel.
Oh, she was my angel for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica says, I'm so glad that I don't know how to whistle. Well, you're safe. You don't have to whistle at all. Beth says, I've never pissed off a Squatch and don't intend to. I've had encounters, though. Beth's also had encounters with Sasquatch. Listen, we need to get you all up on a show together. And we'll talk about these, like maybe on Immortal Coil, Savage Spirituality. Coil, if you want to have a panel, that'd be great.
Mortal Coil is asking, what do you do the ancestors say about the Sky Brothers? I'm not familiar. It sounds vaguely familiar, Sky Brothers. Only thing I know that's in the sky are the Thunder Beings and the Cloud People. And I see them
Coil,
all.
I'm sorry.
The Thunder Beings are here a lot. There's a spot that I go out to have a cigarette, and there's nice, really huge trees to my left and big, huge fir trees over to the right a little. And they're always talking. And I go out there, it's where I go to pray, have a cigarette. Because when I have a cigarette, I pray at the same time. It's tobacco. Pray with it. And
Coil, I sent you a link if you want to jump on, Coil.
So that's kind of what I do. It's a spot. And you can make a spot by praying in a spot. It makes it sacred. It makes it wakan. And that's what's happened. And there's a power line way where there's a raven that comes and lands and always comes to say hi and talk. And so I say hi and he says hi and he hangs out for a little while and then he goes away. We got a lot of ravens around here. And how you can tell the difference between a raven and a crow, on the ground, ravens will walk. They don't hop. Crows walk, hop, 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 hop. That's how crows. And when you hear a raven says, I know. Over and over again. The crow doesn't. The crow goes, I know, I know, I know, I know. It's the difference between the raven and the crow. But
thank you.
In some folklore, the crow does tell you. Sort of like the crow told me. But yeah.
So you're creating that sacred space.
Yeah.
You the Thunder Peep, what are they called?
Thunder Beings.
Thunder Beings. What are Thunder Beings?
They create the storms. They create the lightning, their usable energy. Renewal. They bring the rain.
Okay. All right. Like elementals. Like spirits, elemental spirits.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
No, they're spirits. Thunder Beings. Mm-hmm. Usable energy. Lightning bolt was their symbol.
I'm learning things today. Where did that come from? Where does that lore come from?
Lakota and a lot of Plains tribes.
Makes sense.
They believe in the Thunder Beings, yeah.
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 Let's see. Beth Bear, tell me, sir, you are a musician. You have been making music on your channel forever.
I wouldn't call myself a singer.
Well,
yeah,
a singer. Okay,
I fiddle with a guitar. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so like, tell me about your, when did you start writing music? When did you start?
I'm still waiting on my 13th guitar.
Oh, are you? You're 13.
Yeah, it's a Jerry Garcia Tiger replica.
No, really. Beautiful. Do you have your most recent guitar with you, by any chance?
Oh, it's
packed away.
It's in the closet right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's some things in the way.
Gotcha. I'm so used to, guys, you don't understand. I'm so used to seeing Bear just jamming away. Yeah, because that's just what he's done for years. So I assume it's right next to you at all times, bro.
Well, I'm in the process of finding the sound.
Then
after that, I'm going to learn.
Dig it. Dig that, man. Yeah, ethereals. I best mentioned ethereals. What do you mention about? Oh, here we go. Immortal Call says, Bear, what significance does the Great Spirit have to do with inspiration in general?
Great Spirit is just another word for creator. Tunkashila, grandfather of all. Wakantanka, creator. Great Spirit. It's just a generic word for Wakantanka.
So, man, what is it? Oh, I'm trying to figure out how to reword what he said. Your connection with Creator. What kind of inspiration does that give you?
I'm a servant. I'm the vessel, not the power.
There we go. And Jillian is in the house. Bear, I'm sorry, one moment. Jillian is here. And now we have Jessica and Jillian and Beth and Angela. So I just want to say, last night on Mortal Call and I show, we created this meme because the girls were teasing us, Bear. This is the Dragonstorm harem. We have Jessica right there, and Jillian and Angela and Beth. And there's Coyle and I just, drinking, smoking some hashish and hanging out. Love you ladies so much. You guys were so much fun last night. Greatly appreciate every time these Bear. It's a really cool community of people here, and I hope that they come over and see you.
My wife has forbidden me from having a second wife.
Oh, that's it. There's no more. All right. Well, Bear can't be in the harem, but you know what? He's got the hashish. He's taking care of that part. He's got the hashish, the peyote.
Who? Where?
You. That's it. You, Bear. You.
Hey, me.
Beautiful, man. Oh, dude. So, when are you coming back to YouTube? And are you just kind of going with it at this point? Do you have any plans when you come back to your...
Soon.
Yeah?
Soon.
All right. Good, man. It's good to see you. We do miss you. Jeez, dude. It's been a while, Bear.
Yeah, it has.
How was your... it's good to see you, brother. And let's hang out. Let's not make this a lone event. You're welcome to come back anytime you want.
Yeah, I decided to cut down the beard a little, go into a longer style goatee. I was wearing one of those Norse style beards.
Oh, were you?
For a little while, yeah, I felt right. And then
I go back and forth.
Everything. Well, it's like I don't have any one particular look. I have them all.
Yeah.
And I portray them all. Right. I'm just a character in my own story, playing multiple characters.
Dig that, dude. That is the perfect way to put it. Yeah, the perfect way to put it.
And sometimes I get along with all of them.
And sometimes they fight amongst themselves, and that's when it gets confusing.
Hey, you know the secret to balance? You got a white wolf and you got a black wolf. Which one wins? Which one loses?
Man, I think that taming both creates the most power, right?
No, don't feed either one. They're wolves. They can feed themselves.
Thank you.
Because what happens when you feed one, the other gets jealous and they fight.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't
keeping that balance,
either wolf, they won't fight. They'll hunt and do what they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Be balanced. Yeah.
Sort of like silence is golden.
Silence is golden. That's old school rule. I wish I had maintained that.
And you know what? I may have came up with it, but I didn't invent it.
No?
I thought I seen it referenced in a movie. I can't remember which movie it was, but it was like 10 years back. 20 years back.
All right. But you know what?
It was a caper movie, I do believe.
But truth is universal, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it all comes from spirit. Beth says, I have a fire ethereal here that made its presence known on camera. Fire element.
Spirit. Fire spirit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Beth says, oh my God, the mirror. There's so much cool shit. We got to hang out. Because she has pictures of this mirror, bro, that has entities, like bad entities, trapped in it. And you can see the different faces on it in this picture. And, you know, it was one of the eeriest damn things I've ever seen in my life. And she said there were 11, and I could only see 3. You'd probably see more. You're open to that stuff, but it was. Oh my God, Beth, we got to hang out sometime. Jillian says, "I love Skinwalker talk." Well, this is Bear Nerd Fun. He'll talk to you about damn near anything, and it's all interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to repeat my experience, but basically, if you respect the land, offer tobacco to the land as you're going, skinwalkers won't mess with you. Don't take anything from that land. Leave everything as you find it. You won't ever have a problem with a skinwalker.
Bear, what is the importance of tobacco as a tool for Native Americans?
Pray with it. Offer with it. Offer up tobacco. Offer tobacco to the 4 directions. Don't forget Sky Father, Earth Mother when you do that. Yeah.
Is there any legend that is the reason why it's so? I'm sure there's several, but any that you know of as to why?
None that I can really remember offhand, and I'd have to make sure I could talk about something like that. But it's just the basics. Okay. It's just the basics. If you keep everything simple, you do pretty good. You pray with tobacco, offer up tobacco. You know, don't do wrong. Things like that.
Be good to each other, suffer no fools, wash your hands and wash your ass.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh,
and
man.
that's why I was able to walk away from Utah, Wolf Lake, Hidden Lake. And it was beautiful, man. It was one of the most beautiful experiences in my life, and I came very close to dying. You know how paper thin is? We're talking thinner than that. I scraped the veil.
Mm-hmm.
I've scraped the veil twice in my life, though.
What was the other time, if you could talk about it?
Oh, that was at a Grateful Dead concert.
No, dang it.
So, I'm at the last Grateful Dead show at Soldier Field, last night. Don't ask me to remember the date because I have to look it up. But it was the last night Jerry played live at Soldier Field. I was in Section H. Basically, here's the stadium, long-wise. Stage over here, oval in the center, Section H right here. There was probably about, in Section H itself, there was 100 of us dancing, spinning, mostly with our eyes closed, around each other. It was like watching Cosmos being born is how it felt with the dance. So I'm dancing, spinning, moving with the music. Then all of a sudden I noticed that I was an infinity amount of stories at the very top, Every level of Soldier Fill was stacked on top of each other. Every gem and gemstone of every level of every kind in different ways going all the way up. I was about 4 feet tall. Everyone around me was 2.5 feet tall to 3 feet tall. There was this huge silver cord going from me all the way down. I was completely not in my body. I was completely on the other side dancing.
Wow, dude.
And I could see every level at once, everything that was going on. And was I on some hallucinogens? Had something to do with Lakeshore Drive in 25? Yeah, maybe. Absolutely.
Right. You got to
major amounts, yes. And this was real. Even though it may have appeared to be an hallucination, but it was real. And then all of a sudden, the intonation of the song changed a little bit. And all of a sudden, this blue-eyed gal that I've been trading steps with, blonde hair, put a bottle of water in my hand and put her arm on my shoulder and brought me back like that. He goes, drink this now.
Yeah, they know.
You need to drink this now.
See it. They can see it.
So I did what I was told. I drank. And she gave me this look like you almost died.
Yeah, you don't want to cut that cord.
Yeah.
She saved your life.
And we went back to dancing, and we traded more steps. It just so happened that I was engaged to someone else, and I wasn't connected to her in that way at all.
Right.
And I connected with this blue-eyed, blonde-haired girl that saved my life. Put water in my hand.
Well, yeah. That was a higher chakral connection. That was a higher spiritual.
By the way, you know what that place was called?
The
Land of Fairy.
Get out.
Yeah. Experienced it twice in my life.
Circles within circles, brother.
Once at a Jerry Garcia band show. The first one I ever seen. By the oak tree. By the oak tree. They tore that oak tree down. I was so upset when I found out about that. They tore the oak tree down the Admore Hill to Alpine Valley in Wisconsin. Ah, man. So many people were upset about that because it was a beautiful oak tree. But yeah, that's the first time I seen the Land of Fairy.
Mortal Call asked Bear, what was your...
That snapback, she was pretty gentle. And now I was a pretty experienced traveler. But it was something, I'm telling you. I found out that you're not supposed to cross over to the other side while you're still here.
No, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, there was something else.
Sir. Mortal Call asked Bear, what was your first transformative experience, the one that defined your spiritual evolution?
I followed a crow through some trails, and the crow kept telling me to follow it. And this was at Bailey Homestead Trails. There's some trails, a farm, and Shelburne Farm. I started out at the Shelburne Farm area and hit the trail. And it wasn't a crow, it was a raven. Because it was slightly bigger. Indiana ravens are bigger than crows. Crows get pretty big in Indiana, but the ravens are a bit bigger. So I followed this raven from branch to branch because it kept telling me to follow it. What's up, memes? Kept telling me to follow it, and so I did. There's this cemetery that we go to there. It's an old cemetery. It's in the shape of a medicine wheel. And there's an old wagon rutted cement circled track all around it in an oval. And so when I went in, I went this way. Yes, counterclockwise. And the raven stopped, became 7, exploded, and they all flew in different directions. And then there was 4 red-tailed hawks flying above my head, diving down within 5 feet of my head and going back up. They were dancing, 4 of them.
Wow.
And then one of them dived more to this way to make me look that way, and then went back up, and there was a piece of swamp birch right there. And that became the first stem to my sacred pipe.
Wow. That's a beautiful story, man. Wow. How old were you when that took place?
24.
Had you been walking the path before then? Did you have a teacher?
The path since I was 16. I'm walking Red Road since I was 16. I discovered the song "The Crazy Horse" when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
I got angry, real angry.
Why's that?
Because I was one of the people in the song killing white soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
I knew who I was before.
Yeah.
So yeah, the ancestral memory of atrocities committed against your people, it's a real thing. I experienced it as soon as I heard that song.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how music
kind of
can
started
trigger.
my journey. Yeah, started my journey on Red Road.
I mean, music does absolutely trigger those types of experiences from us. Yeah.
Grateful Dead also had a lot to do with that too. So there was a lot of different jumping points and stages. Been out to the Black Hills. I've been to Pipestone Monument and got welcomed like family. Got told, "Been waiting for you. Welcome home." So have a look around. All the other tourists were paying to go walk around.
And you were family.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, from there, I went to the Black Hills. I walked up to a buffalo. It started peeing and I stopped. And I immediately told the buffalo, "I don't want your grass. I don't want to eat on your grass. You can have all of it."
Mm-hmm.
And I slowly started backing away. That was 15 feet, by the way.
Mm.
The next day, pulled into that same area where the buffalo was. It's like a little ranger building for supplies, where they stored supplies at. It was always closed, and we just pulled in to turn around. But when we pulled in and turned around, the buffalo was coming up. I was in the passenger side. That buffalo got its head right near the window. The thing, if it would have tried to lick me, it could have licked my whole face. I'm God. Like this. Buffalo right here in my face. That buffalo had round blue eyes.
What? It was a spirit. I mean, it was, yeah.
Physical and spirit.
Yeah.
Round blue eyes. I thought all buffaloes had round blue eyes at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. I didn't know the significance. So I was at a Sundance, and I was telling one of the coastal Indians that I was hanging with this story. And he goes to me, "Brother, you know who that was, don't you?" And at that point, all the hair on my arms and everything is sticking up on end. I'm like, "I do now." It was Tenkashla.
That's a blessing. That is a blessing. Wow, man.
By the way, you know the eyes that goats have? Buffaloes have something similar. They're big and brown.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's
and that
beautiful
buffalo, it stopped. I swear to God, it thought about licking me. Creator's funny that way, you know.
Kevin's up in the chat. What's going on, Kevin? Good to see you. Hail, brother. Thank you for coming. Kevin, if you have not, please subscribe to my boy Bear Nerd Fun. Link is pinned at the top of the chat. This is one of my best friends. I've known him forever. Let me see. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's called not killing anyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. I greatly appreciate you. Real life can be better than fiction. Absolutely, memes. And that's why I love having these conversations with people who have been through similar experiences or experiences that I can understand are aspects of existence that are fascinating. And real life, especially if you're on a spiritual journey, it's better than any of the novel you could read. Oh, I think my son is yelling at me to cook dinner, so I gotta go cook dinner now.
I had my son just knocking on the door asking me something.
Yeah, yeah, both our kids at the same time.
He's the youngest.
Yeah, good for him, man. How was my love to your family, dude, and stop back again if you're free. Would you start streaming again? Let us know.
Indeed.
All right, thank you, Bear. Is there anything you want to advertise or say anything to the chat? Give any advice, words of wisdom, love?
Let live and be like the duck because water rolls off its back like it don't even do nothing.
Hail like to that.
Let the water roll off your back. That's all you can do, really.
That's all really any can do, you know? And
then when you plunge, hold your breath.
My love to y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Please remember to support your independent creators out there. If they're making books, they're making comics, support a YouTube channel, whatever platform it is, because just that one share could be the difference between somebody giving up or continuing on. And please remember to, take care of each other in the chat. Take care of yourselves. I am Lodonis, Rainbow Dragonstorm, your seer and sage. Hail to my fellow survivors and thrivers from narcissistic abuse. Please remember to wash your hands, wash your ass. Be good to each other. Yet suffer no fools.
And offer tobacco.
And offer tobacco. Bear said so.
You want to pick it, you offer tobacco.